like I said, my name is Gianna Sithammavong. I'm currently a project engineer in the municipal department of Thomas Engineering Group, or I'll call them TAG from now on. They're basically a civil engineering consulting firm, and we provide engineering services to state, county, or local agency clients. Sometimes we work with private people, but not so often. So my day-to-day basis, it varies depending on what my project manager will assign me. So, so I just started like maybe May. So I'm really fresh to the industry. So they try to like put me in different areas where I can learn a lot as someone who's new. Um, so it'll be from anything from different phases of projects. So either planning or feasibility studies, design stage, putting up the project for bids, or even construction and post-construction. So basically, I graduated from Illinois Institute of Tech with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. So that's my education. And then with my few months at TAG, basically I've been in the office more, but literally last 2 weeks I've been outside on the field on a construction site. So my day-to-day is very different depending on what project I'm working on. So for the most part though, for the first few months, I've been in the office just like learning how to write proposals or contracts, or I work a lot with different softwares like Excel and this CAD software called MicroStation. I do a lot of like preparing cost estimates, which basically means going back and forth between like different plans and checking the quantities of each little thing, like how much sidewalk we're putting in, or how much little stuff like that. And yeah, so I've been learning a lot, and yeah, let me think. And then salary. So what you're looking at is basically right now as a starting entry level engineer, I make about $29 an hour, which is about 60K a year. And that's just entry level. And then it's supposed to go up as you gain experience, obviously. But I also have to take a professional engineering license exam. And to take that exam, I have to pass the fundamentals of engineering exam, which you take basically right out of college, or you can even take it in college. And then you also need 4 years of experience under another professional engineer. So that's where I am right now. So after 4 years, I'll probably get a pay raise. And then once you get a pay raise, you can get about maybe, I would say 53K to 100K. And then if you want, you can also become a project manager, and you're looking at between 83K and 130K a year. So that's the salary. And yeah.
Gianna, thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't know if that was too much,
No,
but
I mean, not many people are willing to tell us how much they make.
yeah, I didn't really want to say it, but I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So.
Gosh, you thank you. But
Yeah,
yeah, I love that like the way that you could keep on growing your income based on
yeah,
like what certifications and what classes you take to like
exactly.
grow your experience.
Right.
Experience. So the longer you last
Hmm.
on the job and invest into
Yeah.
your work, the more
Hmm.
the raises you get. So definitely,
Exactly.
it sounds like when you get the certification, you jump, right?
Yeah,
It could be
that's the big
gradual.
emphasis. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah,
Awesome. And
for
project
sure.
manager is like the highest, like in
Yeah,
the field. Okay.
yeah, very high. That's a lot of
So
money.
my next question is, why do you love your job?
Right. So I love my job because it gives me an opportunity to help communities by using skills I've worked hard on. Um, and basically, this is like a later question, but like basically I've always like liked science and stuff and math, and I always wanted to grow those skills and, use that for like greater good and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of why I love my job, since I get to work a lot with municipalities and, villages, cities, townships, whatever else. And yeah. And then plus, like, on the side note, like, I get a company car and yeah, and I also get to work from home sometimes, so that's fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Real quick, I mean, do you have like a quick example of one thing that you felt like one way that you helped people with your job? Like
Mhm.
what a project that you really liked that like helped a lot of people or just
Right. So one job that I was working on, we are in the design stage. So basically, what I did is we have this one street, and we do a crash analysis basically, and we're looking at how dangerous a certain intersection or a segment of a road is. And basically, I feel like once you look into that, and then you put that, we put that towards a proposal for our different, for I think it was the village of West Chicago or the city of West Chicago, basically. And then I feel like, once we do that and we get a proposal approved, you can, go on to make a better street. And that just helps a lot.
yeah,
It makes it
safety.
safer. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Big emphasis on safety in our job.
Awesome. Um, how would you answer like what are parts of your job that you do not like?
So, what I don't really like about this industry in particular is there's very few women in the office, basically. So it's a little awkward for me. Just like I'm with like a lot of older men. I don't really know how to talk with them, honestly, but they're all really nice people. It's just I feel a little, by myself, honestly. But it's just like a room with a full of like 10 dads, basically. But yeah, other than that, there's not really much that I don't like. Maybe some days, like with working in construction nowadays, I stay a little over my 8 hours a day, but you get compensated, you're getting paid, so it's okay.
All right. So you actually, when you go to the construction sites, I'm imagining you like you're wearing like the construction hat.
I have the whole like helmet and vest, and I look like a highlighter, but that's okay. I would say maybe one downside of that is like you're outside all day. So I do have like this construction tan going on. um, and then like let's say Wednesday actually, it poured rain on us, and the contractors wanted to keep working since we were pouring concrete in an alleyway. So I have to be there, so I'm just getting drenched. But it's all part of the job. I don't really mind.
Wait, you can pour concrete even though it's raining? It doesn't.
We were finishing up, but basically we had to cover it, so we were still out
Okay.
there. Yeah. So, and then
Interesting.
yeah, so but
All
we
right.
had to cover it. Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna combine 4 and 5, which is
Yeah.
like, how did you get to where you are now? And
Mhm.
you could also feed into us. So our students they range from 7th grade to 12th
Yeah.
grade, and
Yeah.
actually ongoing freshmen into college.
Mhm.
What are the talents and habits and characteristics that you developed at a young age to be successful at your job now?
So like I said before, I've always been more of the science and math kid, growing up, and I love just solving math problems or researching random science facts. I In middle school, I was part of this science team called Science Olympiad. That's where I kind of just like I it's all these random events that you get put in, like you get an egg drop catapult thing. I forget what it was, or bottle rockets, or I was also in like a test event where you have to study like food sciences or entomology. Very random, but the goal of Science Olympiad is to like promote science within young students. So it was fun. But that made me want to take more science classes in high school. So I learned in high school that I absolutely hated chemistry, but I loved calculus and physics. So yeah, and I always worked hard. Let me think. I always have this mindset where um, I don't have to be perfect, but you have to do your best. So you need to learn to take initiative and persevere. For example, in college, you don't, as unfortunate as it sounds, you don't get the best professors all the time. So you have to be able to, teach yourself or be able to find a tutor, study with friends, find online sources, whatever you need to do. Um, yeah, but that's one of them. Another habit you probably need is definitely being organized. Uh, for me, I'm a color coded person, but you don't need to be color coded, But since you work with so many different people or utility companies and municipalities, you got to stay on top of it. Um, Let me think. I think that's really it, honestly. I kind of just like live by like the saying, like always do your best. So
Thank you so much for
mhm.
sharing. And
Yeah,
I mean, that's true for any of us, right? Like
right.
being
Yeah,
organized,
yeah.
you
I'm
know,
sure you guys don't have a problem with that.
and just, trying your best always. It sounds like
Mhm.
um, you didn't depend on others to teach you. Like you were curious, and even professors or teachers might not be the best teachers, but you didn't let that
Mhm.
get in the way
Of
of you
course, yeah.
reaching your goals. So, all
Hmm.
right, it is already 8:31. So if you guys need to leave, you can. But if you don't mind, a couple more minutes to answer. If you want to stick around and ask any questions,
Yeah.
well, let's think about like just 10 minutes for any Q&A if you'd like to. All right. But yeah, and then while you're thinking about questions, if you'd like to stay for questions, what are your personal goals? Your next steps, and do you see
Hmm.
this as a stepping stone, or is this something that you're gonna continue with? Yeah, in general
Okay.
or
Well,
specific.
mhm. Well, to start, I would say my current job is definitely not where I saw myself going into college. I definitely saw myself as like more, I dreamt, I would say, of being a structural engineer. I wanted to be able to design my own buildings or bridges and all of that. And which you do take a lot of courses on that, but I definitely found it a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But within civil engineering, there are different specializations, like transportation or stormwater or environmental or structural. So, there's a lot of different things you can do. So I definitely didn't go the structural engineering route. But since I did learn it, I eventually can go back to it. But I definitely don't work with it right now, especially like municipalities. They what we mainly work on at Thomas is resurfacing roads, so going into pavement design or um, green alleyways, all that kind of stuff, or traffic lights, but not really, we're not making buildings. So that is one thing I want to get into, but I actually really love my job. I really love my company. It's really good. Um, I have a lot of knowledgeable people in my company that I've been learning a lot from. So though it's not really my original dream, I actually do see this as something I could do for a lifelong career, but also it can be a stepping stone since I do learn, you learn a lot about writing proposals or contracts and the different phases of projects. So
Very cool. It sounds like writing, being a good writer, because you do a lot of proposals, right? And your
yeah.
writing has to be convincing.
Hmm.
Right? Okay, so
Yes.
that's what I hear from a lot of fields actually. Like to be a good
Oh.
writer is like key. All right,
Like,
yeah.
mhm. I definitely didn't see. I liked writing. I always, did my best, but it wasn't my favorite thing growing up. But it definitely is something I actually have to do. So that is an aspect you have to keep in mind.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Shalom has a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my first question is, I guess, what kind of makes you different from an architect, I guess, since like aren't you both able to like, that's right.
Good question. It's a good question. We, yeah. So even people in my field actually ask that a lot, but I wouldn't say we're nemesises, but they're basically more of they want to make it pretty, want to make it, they don't, not exactly, but basically they're focused on the aesthetic most of the time. But for us, when we look at their design, we're like, that's actually not possible with like my calculations, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's definitely more of like a design and modeling aspect to architecture, but for civil engineering, you're really looking at math.
Okay. And then
It's a smarter career.
I want to say smarter. Actually, I have a lot of friends that are in architecture. So their program is actually 5 years, which is a little crazy, but I definitely would see that they're the ones that pull all-nighters all the time. They're always doing like modeling things and stuff in their workshops. So I think it's really hard, but it's a little, I would say it's more artistic.
I guess, and then my second question is like, as a person that like works on the road, how often would you say you hear like I don't know if you specifically know the reasons, but like why is there like so many times that like there's so much like ongoing construction, like just everything?
Yeah. Well,
please answer that question.
Especially like on the highways. It's because like, standards and codes that we follow are always getting updated. Everything needs to get changed, especially like a lot of roads are from like 30 plus years ago and all that. So they are not matching, or, pavement fails, all of that kind of stuff. And then, construction can't really happen in like wintertime. It's possible, but it's not it's really hard on like contractors, so it's not really ideal. But construction takes a long time. There's so many aspects to it, and honestly, projects take longer in the design phase, in my opinion. But projects are really big, so especially like highway stuff. It's like, even though we're supposed to design maintenance of traffic and all that stuff, it's not always going to be the most perfect situation, honestly. But all that kind of stuff gets approved by like the Department of Transportation. So if I have to be honest, we gotta blame them. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
That's a great question, Shalom, because we're all wondering.
It is. We're all wondering. I'm wondering.
Who do we blame? Who do we blame for all the construction in Chicago?
If I'm being honest too, recently there was a strike happening. So we were, construction wasn't happening for 7 weeks, I believe, on just like these alleyways that we're working on. So we started it in the beginning of June and we just picked it up again, but it should have been over by now. So there's also that. That is in River Forest. Yeah, I forget what the strike is about, but our contractors weren't working. So
all right, any last question before we say thank you and good night? Okay, yeah.
I guess like when you're like you said, like when you're not working, what else like would you be doing? Like in moments of like these strikes and like wintertime, like how is like work? I don't know. You did start in May, so I don't.
So like, especially because that's just construction. We have so many other projects that we can work on. Like I said, writing the proposals, they always give me that since they don't want to do it. Or just like submitting applications for funding is also a thing that I've been learning. There's always like a big process, and like different companies have different things, or just working through IDOT is a little bit of a pain. But there's a lot of office work that you can be doing if construction isn't happening. So
Illinois Department of Transportation, right? IDOT.
Yeah, IDOT.
And you said proposals, I think. Is that might be very similar to like, or funding, like grant writing kind of thing?
Yes.
Always
Yes.
grant writing stuff. So I feel like grant writing is a thing for like from government jobs to
for sure.
to nonprofits, and I didn't realize to civil engineering. I thought you don't have to like propose. Why are you asking? Why do you have to ask for money to like build roads? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's because we're like, it's kind of competitive sometimes. You know, like they have to decide which project is more worthy of the money, basically.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a bunch of different, grants happening, so all that. Like the one that I just submitted is for like I think it's for more bike routes. So yeah, that was fun. It's like, you gotta, be convincing.
So would you say our taxes currently, like, so what those proposals that you're writing, is it because to get the tax money?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
So basically we're trying to get like funding for the project so that the village or the city doesn't have to pay for it themselves. So we get it from the government.
Thank you so much for your time, Gianna.
Yeah, no problem.